Well, good morning, friends. I am Pastor Michelle here at Harmony Creek Church, and I just want to extend a hearty welcome to all of you who are with us this morning for our worship service. Today is Open and Affirming Sunday, which is a special day in the life of our denomination, the United Church of Christ. It's the day that we celebrate all the churches in the UCC who are open and affirming. And being open and affirming is essentially a title, a special title that churches can go through a process to have. And being open and affirming shows the community, our community, that here at Harmony Creek Church, that no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are going to be welcomed here and loved here and celebrated here. And it doesn't matter what sexual orientation or gender identity or however you identify. There are no exceptions to our hospitality. There are no exceptions to God's love. And that is something that we believe strongly here at Harmony Creek Church. And so I am in Salon this morning leading a discussion about what it means to be open and affirming. And so I thought I would take time to give a little message and talk to you about why it matters. Why it matters that we here at Harmony are open and affirming. In a couple weeks, actually next week, I will be heading to Kansas City for the UCC's General Synod, which is a biannual, every other year, big church meeting, and all the conferences, all the people all over the world and country, leaders of the UCC, we gather together to do the business of the church. And right before Synod begins, there is an Open and Affirming Coalition. It's their annual meeting, and I will be attending that as well. So I will be leaving on July 7th to start the drive to Kansas City, and it's a pretty long drive, so I decided to break it up into 2 days to drive it. But for now, we are going to embrace open and affirming and what that means. And so I thought I would just share with you what it says on our website about what we do. And I love what it says. It says, "We welcome you here, whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey. Our worship is a blend of contemporary music, traditional hymns, and progressive theology. We don't simply tolerate our differences, we also celebrate the wonder of the sacred in our differences, not only regarding age, race, gender, ability, and orientation, but politics and theology too. Harmony Creek is a unique community of faith identified by extravagant welcome, progressive and engaging theology, and passion for justice. These qualities come alive as one explores and discovers more deeply the gifts of our community. As part of the UCC, we share in a rich tradition of groundbreaking firsts in justice seeking, extending back several centuries. And so let your experience here at Harmony Creek Church surprise you. We know that church is not for everyone. We recognize that many people have been hurt by the church and that many churches do not focus on their communities enough. We strive to create a place where all people can feel welcome and loved. There's a place for you here in whatever capacity you choose. Church should not hurt. It is where broken hearts help each other heal. And so hear this, you are welcome here." And so that's on our website, harmonycreekchurch.org. And so I know we heard in the beginning of the service, Rosalind read the Open and Affirming Pledge that is also found on our website. But I also went on Facebook and asked people, why is it important that our church is open and affirming? And so here are things that people said. "It allows me to be comfortable in my church. I believe if I'm comfortable, visitors will also feel comfortable," which is very true. "It demonstrates intentionality and the important commitment to inclusion. It says we are doing the work to fulfill this promise and we're walking the talk proudly and with enthusiasm." Someone else said DEI is very important, especially now when there are people that want to exclude people. It's great that we have a community where everyone is accepted with no exceptions. It is a covenant with the people of the church of full welcome and inclusion. It demonstrates to the public our specific commitment to including LGBT plus in every aspect of church life and our understanding of God's love for all. Because, and I like this one, I've liked them all, but because God is love, there would be no point in a church that didn't believe that totally, fully, unequivocally, no exclusion. What would be the point? A church that excludes people for any reason is not a church. It's a club. That is truth right there. Another person said, if God truly wants us to love everyone, then we should most definitely be a church that is proud to welcome anyone. Standard churches are filled with people that judge. We are not the standard. It's a good one. And here's another one. O&A is all our welcome on steroids. I like that. It's that extra step of engaging and welcoming our LGBT plus neighbors into our diverse, loving family. It's exciting to be part of this. And so those are just some of the answers. You can find those answers on our private Facebook page on Facebook. And if you want to be part of that page, just let me know. But why, and that explains to us, right, why that open and affirming title is important. I like to say that with a great title comes great responsibility. And here's my reason. I want to share why it is important for me. Why is it important for me that Harmony Creek Church is an open and affirming church? So for me, I would not be here. I would not have even applied for the job of being your pastor if Harmony Creek Church wasn't open and affirming. Because for me, I am an out, proud lesbian who is a Christian. It is important for me to see right away that a church is taking seriously their call to love like God, to love without boundaries, to love without any exceptions, to love all. And I think when churches take the necessary steps to become open and affirming, it shows their commitment to being God's love, to demonstrating God's inclusive love that falls upon everyone with no exceptions. It is that extra step. It is going the extra mile with our love. And as Linda was the one who said it, it's like all our welcome on steroids. And what an imagery. Because every church, I was at David's United Church of Christ before I came to Harmony, and David's was also open and affirming. And I did not find an inclusive church until I found the UCC. The UCC was my step back into church, because I knew for a fact that I wanted a church that would be welcoming to all without holding anything back. And I remember back in 2009, I Googled LGBT plus friendly churches, and Nexus United Church of Christ in Hamilton, Ohio was the first one that came up, and that's where I went. And that's where I first really saw God's inclusive love really being acted out, really being demonstrated. I went into that church and my life changed. It led me on the path that I got to go on, and that led me down the road to becoming an ordained minister within the United Church of Christ. And so that title, open and affirming, is such an important title. And what's important to point out is that the UCC as a whole, the UCC on a national setting, is very progressive. We are a very justice-seeking denomination. But we also invite churches to be fully autonomous. And what this means is that churches can govern, they can be however they choose to identify, and they are still covenant members of our denomination. And what that means, how many times can I say that? is that not every UCC church is open and affirming. In fact, there's only, I believe, about 30%, 30 to 40, I can't remember the exact number. There is far more churches that are not open and affirming than there are churches that are. And the push with the Open and Affirming Coalition, one of the things that they are pushing for, and I don't think they're ever going to give up, they're pushing for 100% open and affirming. And hopefully that day, I would love to see that day come. Because, at least for people like me, as I said, I would not feel safe going through the doors of a church that I didn't know right away was open and affirming. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church where we would say all are welcome. We're a very welcoming church. That's what they would say. But that was never actually lived out. I never saw that truly demonstrated. Because the truth was that you were welcome to go into the church as long as you change who you are and be more like everyone else. As long as you say the right prayer, believe the right things. As long as you fit the right characteristics of what being a Christian means. Or in my case even, as long as you fit the right characteristics of what being a woman means. And being a woman involved getting married to a man and having kids. And I did get married, but I didn't fit that box that they wanted to put me in growing up. And so I came out in 2007. And it took me a little bit of time, a couple of years, to reconcile my faith with my sexual identity. What does it look like to be a lesbian and be a Christian? Because for the first 20 plus years of my life, the two never mingled. The two never came together because you couldn't be a Christian. You couldn't be a Christian and a lesbian at the same time. But it was life-saving when I figured out that the two can go together, that you can be gay and Christian, that you can be trans and Christian, that you can be a lesbian and Christian, that you can be bi and Christian, that you can be non-binary and Christian. The list goes on and on. And so that was a life-saving thing for me because I spent so many years running away from who I was, trying to fit into a box I was never meant to be in the first place. All because I desperately was seeking God's love. And who would have known that God's love was always there? I just didn't notice it. And that, I think, is the message that here at Harmony Creek Church, that me, Pastor Michelle, it's the message that I want to always present. That message that God loves us through and through, that we are God's beloved no matter what. And we are God's beloved because of who we are inside and out. Every single part of our being is loved by God. There is not one single part of us that is not loved. We come into this world loved and we leave this world loved. It's a message I always like to present on Ash Wednesday. There's never going to be a moment in our life, and even in whatever comes after, where we are not held by God, where we are not God's beloved. And so that's the message we seek to live out here at Harmony Creek Church, an open and affirming congregation of the United Church of Christ. And I am so damn proud to be your pastor. I have further found myself since being your pastor. I feel like come out of another closet that I didn't even realize I was in since being here at Harmony, because you have helped me to even break out of my shell even more. Or I like to say that one person, when I said that to them, they're like, "Oh, you have a shell?" Yeah, but I do. You embrace me, and just know I embrace you. This church embraces you. And so, my friends, let's continue living out that identity of an open and affirming church. Let's continue living out that identity together. Because this is life-changing work. This is life-saving work. So my friends, I love you all. And happy Pride Month. We only have a couple more days left of Pride Month. But may we never stop celebrating Pride. And may we never stop opening our arms wide to everyone that comes through our doors. God's love to all of you.